What's going on, everybody? This is Ezequiel Casas of Filmatic Productions. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up to a video that I did about 4 or 5 months ago, which is where I washed a pair of my APC denim jeans. I bought another pair and I had a third pair, but unfortunately that one got way too damaged after a night of partying and they were more or less irreparable. So unfortunately those had to go. I still have these two, the Petit new standard and the new standard. Not sure which is which right now, but that's what the pair is. So today I'm going to be washing them because this weekend I'm going to be going to Los Angeles for a dance festival. And I would like to do a pre-wash before I go, because this weekend I'm going to be using these jeans and really moving in them. They're going to really the goal is to really get them to mold to my body, and a lot of people say that after washing them, that's when you actually start to see a lot more of the fades start to pop, and you start to see the honeycombs and the whiskers show a lot more. So the hope is that we're gonna do a wash with detergent. This is some 7th generation plant-based detergent, and what we're gonna be doing is following what I would call the Cee Are Dee method. That's from another channel that I was following when I made the first video, and I decided why not use that method. Seems like the guy knows what he's talking about. But to be honest, there's a lot of debate or discussion rather about how to even wash denim. Even the guy who has the Cee Are Dee channel vouches for just turn them inside out and put them into the wash. So what we're gonna do is the other method that he showed, which was putting them in soaking them in a tub for about an hour and then air drying them. So we're going to walk you through that process. As I said before in the first video, the reason that I really love this type of denim, Japanese denim, is that it's much more durable than your regular denim. So, even after a night of partying and things, it's not, it's going to hold up, it's going to hold its form, it's really going to fit to your body. You really go on a journey with it. That's something I said in the last video. And honestly, that's kind of one of the reasons I bought this pair of jeans, is that these two pairs were really for dancing more so than just kind of doing whatever I wanted to do. I actually am wearing that pair of jeans, which is a pair of Naked and Famous jeans, which are kind of just my everyday walk-arounds. But these two pairs of APC jeans were really my go-to. And the third one, actually, as I mentioned, I was partying with it till I couldn't, let's just say that. So without further ado, let's get into just cleaning these jeans. It's very straightforward. If you grew up hand washing any sort of material, it's probably intuitive to you. So first thing I did before any of this is I just obviously check the pockets, make sure there's not a buildup of lint or any coins or whatever. It's not gonna mess up the wash, just you want to make sure that that's not in there. So I did that before. These two are ready to go. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to turn these inside out. So I'm going to do it in the tub here so you can see. I'm not going to fill the tub up yet, just want to show you guys. Let's make sure this plug is set up. Yeah. Show you guys just how he describes the best way to do it. So as I said, just make sure you've uncuffed them too. That's a big thing. There you go, there's that Selvedge stamp that people go crazy for. Alright, so this pair is ready to rock. Let's fold them up. Kind of nice, doesn't really matter. You can see there's a little bit of bleed. You can see from the back, some of the patterns. Put that over there. Flip this one inside out. So the reason you flip them inside out is so that you don't lose a lot of the indigo dye during the wash. Makes more sense when you're doing a machine wash because it's more agitated, but similar principle applies. Also, obviously, as I mentioned before with the pockets, if you have any little things of dirt or dust, you can they just fall out. Obviously I did that before, so nothing fell into the tub. Alright, so now the next thing is we have a stopper on there. It just says run the water about so he says get it to be about lukewarm. I'm going to make sure that the stopper is still on top of the drain. Alright, so now we're going to add in the detergent. As you mentioned, you want to do this while the water is pouring, almost right on top of it. You can even soak the cup, just get the last bits. He mentioned this is going to make sure that the detergent gets everywhere, get a nice suck going on. That way when you're washing it, you really know that every bit of the water has been affected, has some soap in it. Even when you take my hand out, I can feel it's very soapy. Alright, so okay. We'll let it run for 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so we've got a good amount of water in there. You don't need to get it too filled. You're just washing, you're gonna lay them flat. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. You wanna, as Cee Are Dee method recommends, you get about 5 or more cups. I get 5 just because, you don't have to overdo it. That's pretty much enough. You want to get these cups or mugs in order to weigh down the jeans. So we're going to put them... Alright, so this is something that Cee Are Dee has not tried, and I'm trying it for the first time, which is washing 2 pairs of jeans at once. So obviously these jeans say wash separately, which certainly means wash separately from other clothes, other dark clothes. The Selvedge denim gets everywhere. But I've never been sure if that means that you can't just wash Selvedge denim together. I mean, the only thing that the only kind of dye bleed would be indigo, and it would just be indigo to indigo. And I guess if you're really trying to keep the integrity of a certain fabric, a certain blue that you really like, I guess, if you really liked it, washing it, might do something. But to be honest, these 2 jeans, if I look at the inseam, not terribly different from each other. So it's not a black Selvedge with a light blue Selvedge. It's a very similar, just regular denim, and then this. Same thing, more or less same thing. As I said, from the same brand, same size, Petit new standard. So I don't think there's going to be any type of trouble with this. So next thing we're going to do is just, as Cee Are Dee method says, just lay them out. Alright. Shake them first, get some separation in the legs. Alright, as I mentioned, I'm going to have everything out of the pockets, and you just lay them down. And now, just want to press down, make sure all that fabric is submerged. Open it back up. Make sure all this fabric is just submerged. Alright, I'm already seeing some discoloration in the water. That's good. Things are happening. Alright, now this is the science experiment that might get me canceled or banned on Facebook or YouTube denim groups or whatever, but here we go, the second one. Alright, roll the sleeves up a bit. Lay it out more or less right on top of it. As I said, I don't think there's going to be any sort of harm to the denim if we just do 2 at once. More importantly, as I mentioned before, the detergent that I'm using is what's called 7th generation. And I guess this brand, I've never used them before for my regular clothes, but obviously for denim, I'm going to use different things. It's all supposed to be plant-based and very, much non-abrasive to skin, very soft on skin. And so I said, well, you know, this seems to be a really good brand to potentially use for my first ever Selvedge denim wash, just to make sure I'm, you know, keeping true to, I guess, what we really love about Selvedge denim, which is the indigo dye, that aspect of it. Because you have, you know, the denim itself is just great quality cotton and fabric. But also, I mean, obviously for obvious reasons with the fades and things, we really are also paying attention to the quality of denim and want to keep that intact. So I'm not just gonna dump a half cup of OxyClean in here and, you know, think that's gonna do anything. And even, you know, I even saw on the Cee Are Dee method, he used Woolite or some sort of regular thing, and I was like, you know, I'm from the Bay Area, and it sounds so silly to say that, but it's like, if you can just go out and be like, I'm just gonna spend a little bit of more extra money to buy a product that doesn't have chemicals in it, and just to respect the jeans itself. I mean, it's a work. It's an artwork, I guess. I mean, if you buy like legit handmade Selvedge denim, that's a different thing. But even for this, you know, just set a standard for yourself. Just try it out. Buy like a plant-based or a more, you know, natural style of soap, and just see what happens. Okay, so now that I've stopped yapping about that, we're gonna use these cups, these mugs, and these cups to just weigh it down, and then we're gonna wait for about 30 minutes, and then we'll check back in. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're just gonna take the cups off, we're gonna agitate the jeans for a little bit, and then leave it for another 30 minutes. As you can see from the water, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Lot of sweat, funk, other party substances floating around. I'm gonna try to just squish them out, maybe do a little bit of a rubbing on each other. Alright, making sure I don't knock over any of these mugs, give you guys a decent view. Here, so let's start these pants. So make sure this main obvious crotch area, make sure it's agitated, moving the water around. Alright, so that one was on top for a while. Just lay it back on top. Alright, so as I said, you can already see, you know, the water's getting a lot of that stuff out. So I've been wearing these jeans pretty much consistently for the last 3 or 4 months, maybe 5. I bought them in late November, early December holiday season. And then I've been wearing them pretty much every day, dancing in them, not working out in them, but going to dance class, and just walking around biking and things like that. So they've had a decent amount of time to mold to what I do. I've already seen a lot of those trademark, fades starting to come in little by little. I know it's a story. This is literally the first wash, but I'm pretty confident that they're gonna look really nice by the time they get to come out of here. So once again, as I said, just really make sure you get these problem areas around the crotch. It's starting to get warmer out. That's the other reason I wanted to wash these out, is because I didn't want these to get way too funky during the summertime. Have kind of just the winter funk on it, and then add on the summer funk. That's a recipe for disaster. For me, I do a lot of social dancing. So if you are stepping to somebody, asking them to dance, and your jeans smell like they haven't been washed in 6 months, you're probably not gonna get a lot of dancers that want to hang out with you. So Cee Are Dee dude mentions that in his video. I mean, he talks about wearing one pair for a pretty extraordinary amount of time. I think he's talking about like 80 days straight, or 8 months straight, something like that. That's kind of a lot. But he was traveling, so obviously you kind of do your own thing when you're a traveler. People kind of give you a little bit of grace in terms of how you look, how you smell sometimes. But he's also just mentioning that his roommate was just saying, man, it's pretty foul in there. And as you can see, once I pull my big head away, this water is very, very, very dirty. We're gonna leave this for another 30 minutes. I'm gonna put the cups back on, and then we're gonna wash it down, and yeah, we're good. All right. So just to reiterate, the reason that I'm even doing all this with this denim is because this is just higher quality denim. You don't want to mix it and just kind of treat it as any other thing. I personally enjoy taking this time, time budgeting it, and I'm really looking forward to this weekend of dancing, of biking around, hiking, doing a lot of things. And it's just gonna be really cool to just see how these jeans reform, reshape. Obviously the fades are gonna start coming in. And more importantly, just, like I said, dancing in these jeans for 4 to 8 hours a day, easily. And so they're really gonna become almost like a second skin. I love them. The third pair that I had were actually really fit incredibly, and unfortunately I got out of control and they got really messy. So that, anyway, we'll cut that part out. So I just wanted to say I love Japanese denim. As a dancer, as a social dancer, I do a lot of Latin dance styles, and so it's nice to have a pair of jeans, that you can really, go the distance in terms of, social dancing, 4 hours to 8 hours, including like workshops and classes and things like that. As well as just kind of going around. So just to break it down, this weekend I'm going to be going to Los Angeles for a 3-day dance congress. So there's going to be a lot of dancing, but also me and my girlfriend are going to be walking around Santa Monica Pier and Venice and renting bikes and doing a lot of things. And so over the weekend, these things are going to get a major workout. I already spend the majority of my day in these jeans, dancing, going to classes, but this will be a good test of them to see how they hold up, how they look, how they fit after a first wash in terms of what I like to do, which is dancing. After 30 minutes, we'll come back, wash them off, and then we'll hang them up to dry. All right, everybody, before we get to cleaning off the jeans, I'm just gonna show you the water. As you can see, it got very dirty over this hour that it's been soaking. So I extended the Cee Are Dee method a little bit. He did 20 minutes and 20 minutes. I did 30 minutes, came back, agitated them, and then another 30 minutes. So we're gonna drain this water and then we're gonna rinse these off to make sure we got all of the soap out of there before they're hung outside to dry. All right, so I have 2 pairs in here. We're gonna let them kind of drip dry, drip down for a little bit. You can almost feel them re-stiffening up again. The water's kind of flowing through them, really getting all that gunk out. And we get a couple supplies. All right, these guys are already dripping heavy when I just put them on the edge of the tub. So I got a couple of these hooks to hang them for a second. So I just kind of show you one of the pairs, the way that they said to prepare them. Don't want to be repetitive, so I'll just do it with one. All right, we can see these are the Petit new standards for APC. First thing he mentioned is just really open them up. Open up the fly. You want to give it a good shake. Just make sure all of that fabric is kind of, especially this dense fabric that's multiple layers, is just kind of getting as much air as possible. On that same note, we're gonna pop open these legs a little bit. All right. And then from there, we can take one of these hangers. Just set that up. And for purposes, we'll just hang this for here right now. All right. So what we're gonna do is take these pants outside. Currently, it's about 2 o'clock in California at the end of March. So it's a good time. The winter obviously is kind of gone. Spring is coming, so we're getting some sun, but it's not very strong. We're also gonna get some decent wind. So we're not gonna bake these things in the sun, but they're definitely gonna get a lot drier, a lot quicker than if we just hung them out to dry here. If you do it inside, it's around, a good, maybe let's say 12 hours. If it's outside, I'm gonna let these stay until maybe about 6 or 7, and then I'll just take them back in and see how they play. So now that we've opened them up and that we've got some air circulating through them, the next thing that we're gonna really wanna do is make sure that they are free of all those soapy agents. All right, everybody, we've taken the jeans out and we're gonna let them drip dry in our hands, give it a little bit of a shake. Open up the fly, make sure everything's being exposed to as much air as possible. Open up the legs a little bit. You can open them up with your hand. Just make sure all this air is flowing through here. Now, we still have a decent amount of soapy residue. Even though I used all that natural stuff, you want to make sure that it's all gone. So we're gonna get the shower ready. And just wash these out. So as before, you don't want to use really hot water when you're doing this. It's nice little lukewarm water. You want to make sure that these places where there's extra fabric on the waistband, crotch area, that you're really getting all of that stuff out. Now you can see me kind of squeezing it, creasing it a little bit. That's not going to do too much damage to the actual, to the jeans in terms of the fades. I don't recommend doing that in terms of the lower areas of the jeans. So Man, these things are heavy. All right, so just wash them out, about 10 more seconds. All right. Let them drip dry a little bit. You can see little bits of dye. One test is you just want to make sure when you squeeze something like this waistband, you're not getting a lot of soapy residue. I'm not feeling a lot of soapy residue on this, so I'm gonna say this is good. So I'm gonna fold these up, putting the fly back on just to kind of keep them together. We're gonna pop that open when we go back outside. So I'm gonna just repeat this. I'm just gonna repeat this for the other pair. I'm not gonna bore you by doing this again with another pair. All right. Now that we've rinsed them, you can take them outside, put them on these hangers, open up the fly so it gets some decent aeration right there, and just leave them for the rest of the day. They'll drip down and dry naturally in the sun. As I said before, the sun right now is not intense. I'm here in Northern California, so the sun is not baking bright. There you go, just open up the fold, open up the jeans, let as much air inside. These should dry pretty quickly. I'm gonna give them about 4 or 5 hours till about 6, maybe 7 o'clock. By that time, I'm assuming they should be pretty nice. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. I'm gonna do a little time lapse of this part, and I'll catch you soon.